Hello, everyone, and welcome to Film Frauds. My name is Tyler, and if you're wondering why this episode is so short and why it's an entire episode dedicated to our What We've Been Watching section, that's just because the original recording of our Hereditary review, which was the previous video, was about 90 minutes long, and we didn't want to give you guys a super long video so you guys didn't have to parse through it or anything, so we just wanted to split them up, and if people like us doing that, we'll continue it. But if you don't and you like the entire video altogether, then we'll just keep doing that. We just wanted to try it out and see what happens, so if you guys like the split, let us know in the comments below. But if you guys want the original stuff, let us know too. This is a good one, though. Enjoy the episode, guys. Welcome to...
Well, I've been watching, reading.
Yeah, this is Matt. You gotta show some emphasis. You gotta... It's
Tyler, talk about the movies you saw so we can debate it.
So this is our What We've Been Watching section where we just talk about some movies, books, or games we've been playing since the last time we recorded an episode. So it's been about 5 days. I've seen 8 movies in this time. I want to talk about a few. I want to talk about Blackcoat's Daughter. I don't like this movie. I think it's actually kind of bad.
Well, why?
I think the director, which I can get the name of, understands how to create an ambiance of a movie, but has no idea how to implement any horror elements.
What's not implemented?
There's nothing scary. There's nothing thrilling about the movie. It's poorly acted. The characters aren't well written. It's overly slow, despite the fact the movie's 97 minutes. It's paced horribly, and there's nothing really to it. There's no meat to the movie. It's a bare bones plot that is stretched so far thin. I did not like this movie.
That's what made it realistic to me, was the fact that they're just teenagers and they're kind of not really interesting. And I thought the isolation, I thought the academy they were living in in the winter was really creepy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really good subtle humor. I mean, a lot of good subtle horror where the main character is talking to the girl who's possessed or whatever, and she goes "Oh, it's already too late for you," and then the girl's like, "What?" It just doesn't it was so the delivery is so creepy and so matter of fact that I don't know. It just was very dreadful to me. And like with normal teenagers, they're not that deep. Real teenagers aren't really that complex. I just felt that you movie like The Witch, where it's trying to be a story and you have complex characters and stuff. I don't know. I thought this movie worked because the sort of the mundaneness of it made it feel more realistic to me. And then so when creepy things happen, it just had more impact.
I understand. Listen, this is right up on our alley for the type of horror movies you like, and I understand why you like this movie. I just don't. Nothing really worked for me. Yes, there's a really great sense of isolation and ambiance, but that's really all the movie has going for it. At least I thought. I thought, you can make realistic characters, but people are still people. People still have personalities and things, and there really isn't a lot, especially when the movie's so slow paced. You have to have characters. Think about Hereditary. The movie is a very slow paced movie. At least I think it's very deliberate and it's slow paced. But you also have realistic or kind of characters dealing with things, and kind of there's a forward progression in their kind of their characters and what they're dealing with. I don't think Blackcoat's Daughter has any of that. And I think when they finally do get to kind of the horror elements or kind of these spookier spots, there's only one part in the movie that kind of creeped me out a little bit. Other than that, I thought it was just kind of a lackluster and kind of lacking any depth horror movie. I really just I wasn't a fan of it. It wasn't my cup of tea.
It's okay to be wrong.
It's okay to be
human,
wrong.
So
well, Mark's gonna probably say the same thing about you. I watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and so did the rest of us. Matt, what did you think about Eternal Sunshine?
I watched it last night, and I was very confused as to why people love it so much.
Well, tell us.
Explain.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. Explain.
Okay, so I don't really it didn't really have I'm not very passionate about it. It's this movie starts off and Jim Carrey is his dialogue is you can't hear what he's saying, and then you're expected to believe in this relationship he has with Kate Winslet in one scene, and then it hard cuts to the next scene where the relationship's already over and he's beat up. And I didn't really get a lot of that opening scene with them. Didn't do anything for me. I didn't think they had that much chemistry, which I think is the point, because their the characters' personalities are so opposite. But the movie. So I was watching a Red Letter Media review for a Robert Orsi movie, or like those guys, Robert Orsi and
Kurtzman.
Alex Kurtzman, and they're saying like how the movies are like a rush to get to the next climactic scene.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was a rush to get to one of Charlie Kaufman's brilliant metaphors about relationships or the mind. It's like, oh, he's in a house that's filling up with water. Hitting it like, do you get it? Do you get it? Oh, we got to run to the next scene. It's another metaphor. Do you get it? Do you get it? And then I don't know. I never found Jim Carrey's character to be all that sympathetic or interesting. I never really bought into like his relationship or anything because there's only one scene that establishes it, and then it's going in reverse and nothing's happening in order because I don't know. Charlie Kaufman's is a lot smarter than I am or something.
But what about
really
the
obvious
whole
metaphors and
But
Mark,
what about the whole sequence of going through his memories? What did that not have an effect on you?
Well, I never thought that the memories had much value to them. Like,
did we watch the same movie?
I wrote that in the start of my review on Letterboxd. I'm like, did I watch the same? I'm like, I must have just not been in the right mood. But
I think my biggest issue with the movie is all the side characters. I think this movie has like 15 minutes of characters that are uninteresting, don't really do anything, and like the Mark Ruffalo, the Kirsten Dunst, that guy, not Shia LaBeouf, Elijah Wood. Like they're characters that like whenever they're on screen, because I think the far more interesting. I do like this movie. I should preface. But when like the far more interesting stuff is like the exploration through the dreams and like viewing their relationship through that and kind of like the themes of like regret and kind of like acceptance of the inevitable or a rejection of that rather. And then every time the side characters come on and there's like external stuff going on, I thought it grinds the movie to a halt. I thought they were so uninteresting. I thought they just it just felt like it was padding the runtime of the movie a little bit to me. I know, Mark, you disagree with even that. You disagree with both of us.
I would say, well, I'll mention that I watched Being John Malkovich for the first time this week as well. I watched it the night before I watched Eternal Sunshine. And so the only Charlie Kaufman film I've seen, so I haven't seen yet is Anomalisa. So I was sort of like prepared going to Eternal Sunshine that I was going to see something extremely unique.
Yeah.
I would say overall, I like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and I really appreciate for what it is. And I think it's very creative. I mean, it's like something that like only Charlie Kaufman could do, really, or write. I mean, he wrote the screenplay, but the story was 3 people that come up with it. So I like the movie, and I know a lot of people love the movie. I like it. But in reference to Charlie Kaufman's other films, I would say it's like without a doubt adaptation. And then I probably put Synecdoche, New York, and then like Being John Malkovich, and then Eternal Sunshine. But I think they're all phenomenal.
I think this movie is like leagues above Being John Malkovich.
Well, I think you need to like, recognizing things as what it is. I think Being John Malkovich is like a really good instance of like, some of like the greatest films that ever come out. It's like the stars have aligned and like these people were able to come together at this specific moment because of these certain circumstances, and it worked.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what John Malkovich was, because like only Spike Jonze could have directed it, only Charlie Kaufman could have written it, and only John Malkovich could have starred in it.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that works somehow, and I like it for what it is, and I think Eternal Sunshine is made extremely well, maybe even better than John Malkovich. I'd have to rewatch them, but it's just like a personal preference of mine where I just happen to like John Malkovich more. So.
I think John Malkovich is not really a movie. It's more like an event or an idea. I think Eternal Sunshine is better because it tackles clear kind of like themes and ideas, and there's a clear progression. While Being John Malkovich is like, how weird
it's absurdist humor.
Yeah, it's like it's absurdist, but it doesn't feel like there's a point to the absurdism. Feels like it's just like, what can we do with this? Like floor 7.5, and oh, now John Malkovich is in John Malkovich's mind. It's kind of like all those different things, and I think a movie, and that's why I think Anomalisa's. I haven't watched adaptation yet. And that's why I think Anomalisa is his best movie, because Anomalisa is short, it's simple, and it has a clear like 2 or 3 ideas it's going for, and it's told in a much more kind of like structured format, but its creativity comes from its presentation and from the ending, which I will not spoil. But I think Anomalisa is his best movie. I think then Eternal Sunshine, then Being John Malkovich. I still haven't seen Synecdoche or adaptation, so that could change. But I also understand, Matt, why you don't like his movie. Like I get it. Like I can understand like it being just seeming like creativity for creativity sense without a real purpose. I get it. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
um
I mean, this is your first Charlie Kaufman film, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see why this film could maybe come off as pretentious in a sense because it's like, hey, look how creative I am.
Yeah.
Um,
It just felt like it was a very basic plot that was purposefully made more complex for the sake of like
yeah,
it felt like hipstery to me. I compare this to like 500 Days of Summer or like Annie Hall, which I just watched, and it's like those movies just feel more realistic or something. I don't really know that's the right word I'm looking for, but like I don't know, like the characters in like a Woody Allen movie, I just find to be more interesting because they're kind of like they're like like a little more like high society. Like I like F. Scott Fitzgerald a lot, and it's kind of
yeah,
reminds me of something like that. And
yep,
it's like I don't really get like it's kind of like this was kind of like hipster. It was kind of like sappy in a way, and it just maybe it's just my personal taste, but or maybe I was not in the right mindset at the time. But like that first scene with Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet was just nothing to me. Like it didn't, and then it hard cuts to the end where you know that it's not going to work out, and I never really bought into the fact that the memories of this relationship were even worth preserving in the first place. So like I couldn't really relate, and I think that's where. And then I don't know. I just found the metaphors like I just said, just found like it just seemed like sort of pretentious in a way, where it's like, oh, look at all these brilliant metaphors I'm coming up with, and I can see how people like it, but maybe if I rewatch it, I'll like it more, knowing what to expect. But at least for the first viewing, it wasn't working
I
for
feel
me.
like this was a fun movie to do as like a singular episode to kind of go more into like depth with
Mhm.
it.
hmm
Maybe we can save it for that. Maybe one day I can recommend it or Mark can recommend it because his new
yeah,
movie I'm thinking of ending things is coming out in the 4th, so it'd be cool to do like
The trailer looks good for that.
yeah.
yep.
We won't spoil it. Mark says he's not gonna watch it, but yeah, that like looks legitimately really good. Um, that's kind of like all. I mean, I watched Neon Demon. Matt, you watched that, and
I haven't seen it for like 5 years or like 4 years, but
man, there is like first off, I want to say there's a point in the opening credits where it's all the names of the people involved, and underneath it's NWR, Nicholas Winding Refn,
yeah,
and then it comes up and goes directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Then, but it's also NWR right below it, and then it's Nicholas Winding Refn presents with NWR below it.
yeah.
His name is like all over this movie.
Let's say you
Uh,
watch Too Old to Die Young. He has
oh,
8 episodes worth of showing off his name.
oh my God. Listen, I understand why someone would adore this movie, but I found it to be very like empty. I think well because there's also like it's basically the movie's a commentary on kind of like self-acceptance and beauty and the beauty standards and the fashion industry in Hollywood and
Yeah,
how that kind of machine just grinds and spits people out and leaves them like husks of themselves. So in turn the characters kind of represent that kind of like vapid and lifeless and uninteresting people, but I feel like that's all the movie is doing. I feel like it's just presenting like, hey, look, people are like this in the industry, and that's where at least that's how I perceive them. So my characters are gonna be like that. It doesn't feel like it's saying anything kind of creative over that. You could look
uh,
at like Zoolander, which is basically like a spoof on it, or and that. But I feel like this
I
didn't
love
have
Zoolander. Don't make fun of Zoolander.
why.
Don't make fun of Zoolander.
I'm not making fun of Zoolander. I'm actually complimenting Zoolander for this kind of thing, but you kind of like I wrote a letterbox about it, but like yeah, you can have these characters who are like this and they're clearly representing or a commentary on the industry, but it still doesn't make them interesting characters. Just
Yeah.
saying like going like, hey, this person is a specific commentary on this one thing, but that's all they are. I'm not going to do anything else with them.
Um,
It doesn't make them interesting to me.
yeah, so like I feel like that's a common thing in Nicholas Winding Refn movies where really his characters, other than Bronson, I would say, like all his characters in his movies are not really the most complex.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could say something about Drive, like which characters in Drive are really that layered.
Yeah.
They're not as obvious like metaphors as Neon Demon is, but they're not complex characters. I feel like the appeal to Nicholas Winding Refn is his style, and I feel like this Neon Demon just oozes style, especially with like the fashion model scenes.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
there's
I
so many
completely agree.
cool shots in that as well. And like the end, like the climax at the end kind of remind me of like the original Suspiria in a way with like the lighting and stuff. I don't know. I kind of appreciate more for like its technical design, and I feel like
Yeah.
Nicholas Winding Refn has a unique eye, and I've seen most of his movies. I think Bronson and Drive are probably his most accessible. Bronson's probably like the most movie like with characters and stuff in it.
Yeah.
Bronson's incredible. That movie does not get talked about enough. I even like Only God Forgives. Only God Forgives, which is a movie that a lot of people don't like either. I just don't like Valhalla Rising is really boring. I couldn't get into it, and that Too Old to Die Young. I can't. I gave it the college try, but man, that was something else. That was a waste of like 9 hours of my life. That was terrible.
How long is Only God Forgives of a movie?
I think it's under 2 hours.
Because I feel like Drive is the perfect length of a movie. I think Drive's like an hour 50, but it has enough constantly going where the plot is then like engaging enough. Neon Demon's 2 hours, and I think it's a hard 2 hours to get through. I think it's like a little bit too slow. I feel like a common trend in me and criticism is that movies are too long. This one I feel like genuinely could have used like 20 minutes cut off, and it would have been far more kind of accessible to me at least.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I might rewatch it at some point.
I watched it on I streamed it through Amazon with 4K, and the movie looks amazing. It looks amazing, but it's also like narratively and pacing wise, it's not.
Who is the director of The Exorcist? What's his name?
Oh, I have no idea. I can look it up real quick.
He did an interview with Nicholas Winding Refn, and Nicholas Winding Refn was talking about, and he's like, your movie Exorcist is a masterpiece and one of the greatest movies of all time. My movie Only God Forgives is a masterpiece and one of the greatest movies of all time.
William Friedkin.
And then what's his name?
William Friedkin.
Then William Friedkin's like, wait, it's like, he's like, is this guy on it? Is this guy on drugs? Is this guy on drugs? My movie came out 60 years ago. Your movie came out 3 years ago, and it was garbage. And Nicholas Refn's just stone-faced. Like, he's just trying to get this really old man angry at him.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there's a
funny.
definite... Nicholas Winding Refn is very...
He loves himself.
He is not humble, is the nicest way to put it. That's like, I watched a bunch of other movies, like Rosemary's Baby I talked about. I don't really need to talk about 2018's Bruce Willis's Death Wish, which I watched out of pure, like...
I feel like you want to talk about it, though.
I don't want to talk about it. I wish I could rate it lower. It's, like, incredibly tone-deaf, but that's, like, the majority. Matt, did you watch anything really good this week?
I watched VVitch. Rewatched it. It was incredible. It's still one of my favorite horror movies. It was so much more tragic watching it again because you know that, I mean, spoiler alert, like nothing good's gonna happen.
Yeah.
coming
Basically, everyone dies. Yeah.
Almost everyone dies. But man, like the directing in this movie is phenomenal. You really get that New England feel, as you know, a bunch of New Englanders ourselves. You get that feel, and like the dialogue.
We live in New England. What?
Yeah, and the dialogue in the movie is just incredible. I really like the old English style, and it has like this sort of like poetry to it, and really like makes the movie feel like higher art. And where was I gonna go with this? So I like The Lighthouse, but I want Roger Eggers' next movie to be more in line with the VVitch. I want it to be more of like a movie than just not that The Lighthouse isn't a movie, but it like The Witch has a more like sense of reality to it, I would say, and I really, really love this movie. And Anya Taylor-Joy is phenomenal, and like the ending of the movie is where I think Hereditary fails is that when the VVitch succeeds is that it keeps with the psychological horror, and it has like kind of like a unique ending to it, which I really liked. And I recommend to anyone who likes horror because it's pretty short, and it's just it feels like I think it feels like a Kubrick movie with how like well crafted it is.
Damn.
His next film. Do you guys know what his next film is?
No idea.
It's called The Northman.
Oh no! I knew that.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
So I think Robert Eggers has been working on this for a while. He has a lot of scripts that he's done. Well, before I get to the Wolfman, I want to talk about. He was.
Wait, is it the Norse? Isn't it like a Norse movie or?
It is. It's set in the Viking period.
And they're like coming to Canada or something, right?
Maybe I think they're doing location scouting in Iceland. But before I talk about The Northman, I want to talk about Robert Eggers, and he was slated to direct a Nosferatu remake with Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that.
I think he was it was Studio 43 who was supposed to produce it, and then I think that fell through. Like it was like The Witch came out, and then they're like, "Oh, you're doing Nosferatu next. How do you feel?" And like, I think if I'm correct, that's the film that got Robert Eggers into film. You know, as a medium. Like he saw that when he was.
I saw that interview.
He was like 10 or something.
Yeah.
And he saw a picture of like Max Schreck as like he's like it's of Nosferatu, and he was like so horrified, but he was obsessed with the film.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to direct a remake, and I hope he said he spent years on the script, and he has a shooting script but like it's just not funded yet. So
Netflix.
hopefully,
Netflix.
yeah, Netflix, get on that shit.
Come on, Netflix.
But
I want another
but
Robert Eggers movie.
The Northman has a stacked cast.
Who's
It's
in
like
it?
Nicole Kidman,
Ooh.
Alex Skarsgård,
From Work for Everyone. Oh my God.
William Dafoe. I think Anya Taylor-Joy might be in it, and then there's like some other big
She
ones.
needs to be in a good movie again.
Yeah.
She's in Last Night in Soho. Edgar Wright movie coming out.
Edgar Wright movie, yeah.
Oh.
The horror movie. That's going to be coming out soon, or it should be coming out soon. So Robert Eggers is teamed with a
Robert Eggers
poet.
has like 8 movies on this like letterbox thing. Like he has his 2 shorts. He has
Brothers, The Telltale Heart.
He has Brothers, he has Telltale Heart. He has Hansel and Gretel. He has Vampire, which is the Nosferatu one. He has The Northman, which is Alexander Skarsgård, Anya Taylor-Joy, Bill Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman,
Bill Skarsgård.
Yep. And then he has The Night, which is a medieval epic, and it says 2023.
What?
Yeah.
What is it?
The Night.
What?
It says medieval epic, plot unknown, and it's no cast. And it already has a 5-star review and a 1-star review already.
What the fuck? Anyway, so fuck, I don't even remember what to talk about. But yeah, that's they're like in pre-production now. I think like if it weren't for the pandemic, they'd be filming it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Matt, what else have you watched?
I watched Hush again.
Hush is awesome.
Yeah, I remember I saw it like 4 years ago, like my freshman year of college. I wanted to rewatch it, and like I liked the movie more the second time I saw it than the first time. Like I thought it was good the first time I saw it, but like I don't know, I was super into it. Rewatching it,
Mike Flanagan makes
I give it 4
movies.
stars on Letterboxd, and like the way they were able to handle sound design with the fact that she's deaf is so. That the main protagonist is deaf is so interesting and so good. Like the filmmaking in this movie is really good. And like the ending when she's like writing like the note and like he's like slamming on like the glass door. It's man, it was such a well shot scene. And there's like some stupid decisions that they make, like a couple, but it's never anything jarring or like to take you out of the movie. I don't know. Like it's only 8 minutes long, I think, but it's like perfect length. You get you get like the whole movie. Nothing really needs to be cut out. And I feel like the way that this deaf woman fights the bad guy is really cool, and like they implement unique things in it. And I don't know. I don't want to go into spoilers because the movie's super short. But if you like suspense movies, I'd recommend it. And it's just a well crafted, well written movie, in my opinion.
I agree. I think Hush is one. Yeah. What's his face? Mike Flanagan makes good horror movies. He knows how to make a good movie. And yeah,
what other horror movies has he done?
He's done Gerald's Game. I haven't seen Gerald's Game, but I've seen Oculus, and Oculus is really good. He did Dr. Sleep, which Mark, you said you like.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that was a good movie narrative wise.
Isn't the deaf girl in the movie like his real life wife or something?
Maybe. I honestly don't know.
Like I heard about that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all. That's I was gonna say. Yeah, Hush is like the perfect length. Did you watch anything else, Matt?
Eternal Sunshine, Spotless Mind, which we already talked about. I'm on Letterboxd really quickly. But I also beat Star Wars Last Jedi last night, and it was good. I liked it. Finally got around to beating it.
Fallen Order or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. What did I say? Last Jedi.
Yeah, you beat the movie.
Yeah.
You took the disc out and you beat the
I wish I could beat the movie. But it's a good game. I really want. I have had it since Christmas. I got it for Christmas, and I really wanted to I knew I was like halfway through, and I just like the last week I was like, I'm just gonna beat this game before I get into Ghost of Tsushima. And I don't know. It's good if you like Star Wars movies, Star Wars games, and you like it has like kind of like God of War kind of combat ish to it. So if you like that, I think you'd like it. It's good.
All right.
I want to give an update on my. I didn't watch any other movies. I watched Being John Malkovich and Eternal Sunshine, as I said. But I'll give an update on Antkind, the Charlie Kaufman book. So I'm 350 pages into it. It's 700. And I'll give a brief synopsis on the plot because I don't think I mentioned it in a previous video.
Check out our July 2020 recommends video.
Or don't.
Just so you guys, I don't think I've told you guys yet, but the plot of this book is the main character is a third-rate film critic. His name's B, just the letter B. And he's just like mopey about the fact that he's like a failed film critic, and he comes across this guy named Ingo Cutbirth, who's 90 years old, and he lives by himself in an apartment complex. And he's talking to this guy, and this 90-year-old man, Ingo, reveals that, oh, I have made a film, and it's 3 months long. And so the main character B watches this film, and he has for like 3 months straight, he watches it. He has like this fever dream, and no one's ever seen this film except for the creator, Ingo. And so he watches the film, then Ingo dies, and then he's taken the tape or the film reel that took 90 years for Ingo to make, and to go get it duplicated and restored, and then it burns up in a fire. And then he goes into a coma because of the fire, or like there's like an accident. And so the rest of the movie or the book is like him trying to remember like what happened in this 3-month-old film, because he like believed it was like the best film of all time and like one of the most important pieces of art ever created. And he thinks that it'll give him stardom if he is able to remember it and remake it. And so this book I think would be nearly impossible to adapt to the screen. It is at times very confusing, and you like lose your bearings as to where the hell you are. And it's full of commentary on the current state of cinema as a whole.
Mark likes to send us pictures and going, look.
He makes fun of Christopher Nolan like 5 times. He has such the main character does. A lot of commentary on how film industry is now just mass-produced garbage.
Hey.
So
he did make Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind, so he contributed to it.
Oh.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Damn.
Matt like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless. That's not even that can't even be an insult because it doesn't even apply.
I'm just joking, dude.
What? You know me. I get mad over.
I'm just joshing you, bro. You're not Charlie Kaufman. What do you care?
Your chain.
I would die for Charlie Kaufman. Okay, I love what he produces.
I can tell you right now.
I've been a fan of his for a week and a half.
Yeah. Well, I watched Adaptation this April, and that movie. Ever since I watched
him
it
for 4 months.
Hey, it's longer than you guys.
I saw Anomalisa in 2016.
Well, you didn't know it was Charlie Kaufman. You just watched it. Like, oh, that was good. I'm gonna go.
I knew it was Charlie Kaufman. The only reason I watched it is because I got it for free at my library because they got it for new when I was working.
Tyler, unless you become an undying sycophant to the creator's work, you cannot consider yourself a fan.
Damn.
You have to reject any sort of criticism about the creator and only think about the positives. That's the only way you can like things.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
If you fall asleep, you're going to give it 5 stars because Roger Ebert did.
Can we rename?
Absolutely. Roger Ebert gave Adaptation a perfect score.
What do you give Being John Malkovich?
I don't know. I didn't check.
Hold on, Matt. While you're talking about Antkind, I'm going to look up what Roger Ebert gave Eternal Sunshine. Wait, did he die before that movie came out?
That movie came out like 15 years ago, bro.
Did it? Oh. Just call me bro.
It came out in 1999, and Roger Ebert died in 2013. So you do the math.
So he's dead.
Tyler's like,
I'm like, wait, I'm an English major. This doesn't work out. Roger. All right, Mark, keep talking about Antkind.
It's good. I don't.
He gave it 4 stars.
He gave it 4 stars?
Yeah, Charlie Kaufman, 4 stars.
What are you barking about?
He gave Anomalisa. Oh wait, no, he's dead by then. He gave Synecdoche, New York, 4. He gave Eternal Sunshine 4. He gave Confessions of a Dangerous Mind 4. Adaptation 4. Human Nature 3. Big John Malkovich 4.
What about Eternal Sunshine?
4. I said that the first time.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, God,
okay.
you're too stupid.
So let's analyze what Tyler just said. Every single Charlie Kaufman film gets a 4. You hear that?
Yeah, well, Blue Velvet got like a 1 out of 4. So what do you say on that? Does that one not count?
Roger Ebert can be wrong when he's wrong about movies that I
like. Roger Ebert's only right when it validates my opinion.
Yes, exactly. Blue Velvet, and I will say this to the day I die. Blue Velvet is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece.
I'm too scared to watch it now. I don't want to deal with it because I don't want to be like. I don't want to have to, because if I side with Matt, it's just gonna be a fight.
You're gonna feel my wrath.
Well, I'm never gonna watch it, so there's no point.
If I side with Mark, then I'm gonna deal with Matt, and Matt's mean.
I'm never gonna suggest it. I cannot force you to watch this. Blue Velvet will come to you on its
I
own.
watched it. I watched it
So
under my own agency.
It's so
Yeah,
terrifying.
well, out upon my recommendation, and then you skipped like the last 30 minutes. You're like, oh, nothing's happening.
I skipped
So
the
then you're
last
like,
10. I skipped 10 minutes because nothing was happening.
Okay, I'm gonna gripe for a
Oh,
second.
hit the
I hit the mic.
Oh,
Tyler,
God.
okay. People who watch film frauds, if you're still watching this miraculously,
Hey,
I
people
would like to
like
address
us.
something. Tyler here in the corner, blue shirt. He's got the headphones in. He watches movies with the lights on.
Yeah, he watches horror movies. No wonder I like Blackcoat's daughter.
With the lights
I
on.
watch
and he
Blackcoat's daughter
pauses-
with
the
visuals were bad. He
Because
pauses
you're
it.
looking at your own reflection because all the lights are on.
That's what. No, I
And he
turned off
pauses
the
it
light.
to
Was
send Snapchats.
no. Listen, hey, the light was off for
Tyler's
Blackcoat's daughter.
retconning his own.
No,
ways he
the light
watches
was on
movies.
for Hereditary because I didn't want to be scared. I was worried. It
Oh,
was
come on.
What's
Boo!
the movie. They were off for Blackcoat's daughter, and I was bored. And then I paused the movie sometimes because my phone's over there and I buzz because I'm cool. And I'm cool. And so people will text me and then I'll pause and go, okay, I'm going to look. But I never pause it when it's like in the middle of a scene. Toni Collette isn't like in the middle of screaming at Naked Brothers Band Kid in the middle of dinner. I'm like, this is a good place to pause. And I pause it. I pause when nothing's happening. And Blackcoat's daughter, I could have paused at any single point in the movie because
No,
nothing's
you couldn't
happening.
because you couldn't get into it. That's why I didn't like it.
Think about cinema.
Too busy
These
getting
directors-
rejected by Tinder girls to get into it.
These directors make these films you watch in a dark theater with your undivided attention. You owe the filmmaker that.
I don't owe Bruce Willis and Eli Roth anything for Death Wish. That's not how
You
this
owe it
works.
to Hereditary and Blackcoat's daughter.
I
Hey,
watched
listen to me.
Hereditary. I gave Hereditary a good review.
I turned off my phone, I turned off the lights, and I watched The fucking Marine, okay? That's my commitment to cinema.
Wait, Mark.
Wait.
Just so you know, Tyler gave The Marine and Hereditary the same grade.
Fucking A.
Hey.
Just let that sink in for a second.
Hey, that might have been a mistake on my part. That movie might be a low B instead of a B.
It still has the title of B.
I did give Marine a B. Because the Marine acknowledges what movie it is, and it has fun with it. You guys are just stupid.
I don't know what's more insulting, the fact that Tyler gave The Marine a B or Mark gave Dune a B. They're both so terrible.
Ugh. Well, before we start stabbing each other, Matt, what's our call to action?
Subscribe, comment your favorite film fraud, as long as it's me, and like
explain in full detail why Tyler is not your favorite.
Why?
Yes.
Why? I don't want to be a scapegoat.
Alex
I
can
want
write
people
the longest post.
to like me.
Alex, explain in detail why Tyler is not your favorite film fraud. Also, next episode, we're doing Peninsula, I think.
Are we? We're doing
I think so.
either the Peninsula, Train to Busan Peninsula, or we're doing Mark's director series, Punk Drunk Love, or we're doing something else. We at this point don't really know, but it's probably going to be one of those two. Wait, when's Peninsula coming out?
I think
Next
in
week?
like 5 days or 4 days or something.
We'll probably do Peninsula then. All right, Matt, what is happening to your camera?
The light is like shining towards the camera now. Like, we have to wrap this up.
We gotta wrap it
It's
up.
very
This is a
slow.
long one too.
Okay.
All right. So next episode's either going to be Punch Drunk Love and Paul Thomas Anderson, or Train to Busan, and we're talking about that movie, and then Train to Busan Peninsula. If you want to know Train to Busan, if you want to watch the first one, it's on Netflix, it's on Amazon Prime. There are places for you to watch it, and the sequel we'll pay for. Wink.
Yep.
I'm gonna cut that.
It's on exclusive with Shudder.
Yarr.
They bought exclusive rights to it.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's so lame.
Oh, I'll get like a free trial for Shudder then or something. I don't know. All right. Comment me as your favorite film fraud.
No.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
I get the last
No.
word.